Hi, I'm Dennis Cooper, writer. Yeah, the first issue of Little Caesar was in 1976. It was like an actual handmade magazine, and then I'd take it and get it printed, and I did the whole thing myself. I sent it out to stores and solicited people to put it in their stores and stuff like that myself. It was like a one-man operation. I had just gone to England to sort of see what punk was happening, because I'd heard about the punk scene happening in England in like '76. So I went over there and looked at it, everything, and sort of saw all the bands and everything. And there was this whole kind of zine culture, all these zines like Sniff and Glue and all these things. And I was really inspired by those. I just thought those were really beautiful. And then there was the main reason on top of that was that I was in Los Angeles, and there was no scene there. There was a music scene, there was an art scene, but there was no literary scene at all, right? There was one, but it was really parochial. So I started the magazine, and I sort of like got the young writers in LA to sort of be publish in it. And then I also like solicited all this stuff from people in New York and in Europe and stuff for the magazine. So it was kind of just to create, to me originally was to create a kind of energy in Los Angeles with it, so that a kind of scene could develop. And also trying to connect punk and poetry, because poetry, it was such a, it sort of wasn't connected. The two weren't connected, and I like the idea that the energy, the punk energy and the poetry energy could kind of come together, and like, I don't know, because to me those were my two main interests at the time. The blog, I mean, except that it's not about place, since there isn't a place. It's like this abstract place online, but yeah, no, it's definitely tapping into the same kind of thing. It's just that one happened by accident. So, I mean, I didn't plan. The blog was something I didn't want to do, and I was sort of talked into it a bit. And then it grew into this kind of phenomenon thing it is now. But Little Caesar is like, like nothing compared to this. This is like a huge amount of work, but it's very similar. It's like just doing stuff about things I like, posting writing I like, doing things about movies and music and stuff. And then also this huge community that's gathered around it that kind of fraternize and sort of support each other and stuff. So yeah, it's like a much larger scale version of what I was doing with Little Caesar. Yeah, it's like I get too self-conscious if I think about it, but apparently it's like 80,000 to 100,000 hits a day. See, but the thing is, like, it's all, and that's so many people. It kind of blows my mind. And granted, people will hit it numerous times. But because it's like, it's really international. I mean, there's people posting on it from all over the world, and because my books are published all over the world, it isn't as weird as it sounds if you start thinking the whole world or whatever, or certain parts of the world. But it's a lot of people. Yeah, it's a huge amount of work. And I think if I wasn't like over here and kind of isolated, if I was in Los Angeles, I don't know if I'd do it. But because I'm over here and it gives me something to do, and it connects me with people or something, since I don't have a huge amount of friends over here because I don't speak French, I just put a lot of time into it. It takes enormous amount of time. It's like a full-time job. So I'm just in a rhythm with it, I mean, I get up I work on it all day, every day. It's like my job. I write also, I do my writing and everything, of course. I mean, I'm kind of like a very curious person, and I keep up with everything, and I'm very interested in like the newest stuff that's happening in art and music and film and all that stuff. So it's not that unusual, it's not like it's a chore for me. It's like I would naturally go investigate something anyway, but it's just that instead of like looking all around online and gathering all this information and stuff, I'll just like gather this stuff and then place it on the blog. That's it. The PS is the part that's the hardest, because it takes me like 3 hours a day. I mean, it's cool and everything. Sometimes I just don't know why the hell I started that, because now it's like a huge amount of work. But that's what people seem to love about it, is that they can all talk to me, and I talk to every single person, and support everybody. And I mean, it's really cool that like somehow this energy is like feeding these people to get their work out. That's like, in a way, the best thing about it for me, the blog. But that PS is really hard. It's really hard. The other part's kind of fun to do, but I mean, the days because there are days when I'm like sick, or like I'm just in a horrible mood, and I'll just say like, I'm not going to do it today. It's very rare, but I don't. And then that when I do that, nobody posts. It's amazing to me, the stuff that they actually read. It's like, maybe it's like an avant-garde text or something, and it's kind of cool. It's like reading an experimental piece of writing. I mean, the fact that it's like there's no elitism and there's no money involved, and that it's really, really an open door to every single person that wants to come on there and start and join in and stuff. And And if I started doing it for money or having like, I don't know, it would ruin it for me. It would totally ruin it. I like that it's this kind of, people just find it, I mean, people are doing press about the blog now, but it's really kind of this like hidden secret thing, What's curious about it for me as a writer is that it's much more interesting than writing fiction. And that's the kind of a problem I'm having, is that I'm finding it much more interesting to work with because it's such a complex array of things to work with. And it's whereas fiction is just fiction, So it is definitely it is influencing what I'm working on. And I finished a book of short fiction, and it's heavily influenced by the blog that I did recently. But there's no question it will. But right now, it's sort of like, why would I write a book of fiction when I can do this?